Hi guys, I hope that you're well, that you're staying safe and keeping the distance out there. Now for today's video, I want to do something a little bit different. Now over the years and throughout various videos, you've heard me talk about items that I like and that I can appreciate, but then I say it's not for me, yada, 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 right? And then lo and behold, a couple of months later or a couple of years later, they make their way into my hot little hands. So today I wanted to focus on those items. I really didn't think that I had a collection of never say never items, yet here we are, but I wanted to share those pieces with you, let you know why I was so against them, and ultimately what changed my mind. So I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, make sure and give it a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get started, shall we? None of these items are in any particular order, but let's begin with the black lambskin Chanel Mini. So this bag is a twofer for me. One, because of the size, and two, because of the material. Now when it comes to the Chanel Mini, for the longest time, I definitely judged a book by its cover because I thought it was way too small. I kept thinking to myself, what the hell am I gonna fit in that bag? What, am I gonna get away with carrying around only a lipstick? There's no way I'd be able to fit anything else in there. So I was just like, you know what, this size is way, way too small for me. Plus, I thought that I would end up overwhelming the bag. I thought that it would look maybe a little bit funky on my body frame. So that was another thing. And when it came to the lambskin, I remember just reading horror stories of people that had either handbags or small leather goods in the material. And after the first time that they used it, the item was super scratched. It was trashed. People were like, it's a waste of money. Don't go for it. It's terrible. It's horrible. Don't do this. Don't do that. So I was just thinking, okay, absolutely no lambskin for me, you know? So when I started to introduce Chanel into my collection, I always went for caviar. I love caviar, I still do, and I love how carefree it is, you know, but there was still something in the back of my mind that just kept thinking, I wonder how lambskin would really be, you know, how it would end up working out for me. So fast forward to a couple of years later, and this guy started to come up a little bit more, and I was still intrigued. So I ended up going on YouTube, and I ended up just checking out what's in my bag videos when it came to this bag, and I was obsessed. I was obsessed because people were like, oh, I can carry this, and I can carry this, and I can carry that. You have to go a little bit more compact, but you can carry this, that, and the other. And never in my wildest dreams, I know that this is going to sound so ridiculous, never in my dreams did I think that I'd be able to carry as much as people were showing, you know? So it made me super, super excited. They were maximizing their space. Of course, you can't get away with carrying absolutely everything with you. You have to go a little bit more compact, but still, you were able to carry more than just the lipstick that I completely thought about for, you know, for so long. So it made me super, super happy. And then as far as the lambskin goes, I remember going into a boutique and, I went in there to check out some caviar small leather goods. They had some lambskin small leather goods, so I figured, you know what, I'm already here. Let's see what's up. And I fell in love with lambskin. It is so incredibly soft, and I feel like lambskin adds a completely different type of beauty to any item, whether it's a handbag or a small leather good. Not saying that caviar doesn't. I think that each one brings something different to the table, but with lambskin, there's just something about it. It kind of pushed me to try out a small leather good in lambskin. I put that thing through the ringer, and it ended up holding up. So because of that, and because of my previous, you know, research when it came to the mini, I was kind of like, okay. And then I ended up going into a boutique and they had a mini there. I decided to try it on, and much to my surprise, it wasn't this itty bitty bag. And I loved how comfortable it was crossbody. I loved how comfortable it was on my shoulder. So that to me kind of sealed the deal. I ended up putting a lambskin mini on my wish list, and a couple of months later, this beauty made its way into my collection. I've had this bag for almost 4 years. I think that it has worn fabulously. I really haven't had any issues with any scratches or anything like that. If I do get a scratch, it buffs right out with just my fingertip. I know some people do end up using like leather conditioner. I don't condition any of my handbags, and I'm really not careful with it. I don't put it in that bubble. The only thing is that I don't end up using it in the rain. Other than that, I incorporate it into every other aspect of my life. And I think it's incredible. So even though it's not as carefree as caviar is, as I said before, it's definitely not as delicate as people make it out to be. And this is a bag that I sincerely consider to be one of my top 10 in my collection. So never did I think that I would end up saying that about a Chanel Mini. All right, moving on on to another mini bag. That is the Louis Vuitton Palm Springs mini backpack. Now, you would think that I would have learned my lesson when it comes to judging a book by its cover with the Chanel mini, but no, that wasn't the case. Because when the Palm Springs mini came about, I really did think that it was super, super cute. I mean, I love the way that it looks. I was like, oh, it's so, so cute, but I mean, what am I gonna fit in there? There's no way. I thought that maybe it was way too trendy. I thought that it was maybe a little juvenile, you know, just like, I'm not gonna be able to get away with it, you know? But the more and more that I saw it, the more and more it started to come up on my feed, the more and more I was like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I think it was probably 2 years or 2.5 years after it launched that I was even more and more intrigued. And here we go again. I go onto YouTube, I start watching what's in my bag videos, and I start watching reviews. And I was just, oh my gosh, this bag is amazing, you know, because I've always appreciated the fact that it does have the carefree leather. You don't have to worry about any type of weather. And also, even though it is a backpack, it does come with removable adjustable straps. So you can use it as a backpack, as a crossbody bag, as a shoulder bag, as a hand carry bag, what have you, you know. And I thought, oh, it would probably be a really great travel bag as well, because you don't want to carry a, you know, this huge bag when you travel. At least I don't. So again, the more and more I looked at it, the more I was just like, yeah, I really like this bag. I really like this bag. And it came to the point where I don't even want to admit it, I was like obsessed with watching videos on this bag. I was just like, I need this bag. I think it's beautiful, you know. So I added it to my wish list, and then I think it was probably like 5 or 6 months later, it came to be in my collection, and I haven't looked back, you know. And even though it's somewhat trendy, as I've said in other videos, when it comes to the Palm Springs mini backpack, it is a trendy roller coaster because this bag will continue to come back. I mean, mini bags were super popular in the 90s. They died down, and then they had another surge of small backpacks. Those died down, and then the Palm Springs mini came about. And I felt like a lot of people thought that this bag would only last maybe that season. I was one of those people. I was like, okay, one season, this thing is toast. No one's gonna be buying this bag after a year. No, that wasn't the case. This is still a very, very highly sought after bag. This is amazing, and it makes for an awesome travel bag. So the Palm Springs mini backpack, huge fan of this little guy. On to the Louis Vuitton Petite Noe in the multicolor. Now the Petite Noe, I have always appreciated this bag from afar. I absolutely love the history behind it. It is a classic to the house, and it's an item that, again, I've always thought was incredible, but never for me. And the main reason that is because back in the day, I used to have 2 Louis Vuitton backpacks. I had one in the small size and I had one in the GM size, and even though I did use them for travel and I thought that they were incredible, I also found them to be quite fussy because of the drawstring. So for the longest time, I kind of swore off the Petite Noe, or the Noe in general, because I know that there's different sizes. I always thought, you know what, it's gonna be way too fussy. It's gonna be the same thing as those backpacks. It's gonna drive me nuts, and then I'm gonna end up selling it. So earlier this year, I was on Fashion Files website, and I was browsing through their listings, and I saw this guy, and I just figured, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Even though I still was apprehensive because of my past experiences, I decided to go for it and see how it ended up working out for me, you know? And even though I haven't had this bag as long as some of the other ones that I've shared in this video, I'm happy to say that it's not as fussy as I thought it was going to be. And it's really because, I think it's because the backpack had the flap on top of it, so maybe that added to the fussiness. Whereas this one, even though you have the drawstring, you can still either see your items at a glance. You can kind of set this knot here to a different size, so that way you have a little bit more security. I feel like you can definitely play around with it. And so far I've kind of carried it this way and it's worked out. And I absolutely love it. You know, so I'm super stoked that I did end up giving it another chance, even though I was super nervous. And it ended up working out a lot better than I thought. Moving forward, if a bag has the drawstring, I'm not gonna automatically just say no. It just definitely has to have, you know, the open part. So bucket bags, I am a fan. Never thought that I would say that. Another game changer, the Louis Vuitton Bum Bag. Now, before you say anything, let me just tell you, I have never been a fan of fanny packs. I don't like bum bags. I think that they're hideous. I've always thought that for the longest time. You know, I felt like they were very touristy looking, and I'm like, they seem very gimmicky almost, you know, and I'm just like, you know what, that's not my jam. I can't really do them any justice. It's not really for me. However, as I've said in other videos, I have eaten my words one letter at a time when it comes to this bum bag, because I think it's fabulous. It is absolutely fabulous. Do I use it as a fanny pack? Absolutely not. It looks terrible on me. However, the fact that I can play around with the adjustable strap and use it crossbody on the longest setting, or just grab and go and throw it on my shoulder, I think is incredible. And as I've said, I am a very, very casual dresser, and this bag just ends up working out for my lifestyle. I think it's awesome. You have the zippered closure so that we have a little bit more security. And even though it has a little bit of an odd shape to it, I'm able to carry all of my daily essentials and then some quite nicely without it weighing down my shoulder, or whenever I go to use it crossbody, it doesn't end up digging into my skin or anything like that. Just because of this leather, it ends up just kind of molding to your, I don't know, it ends up molding to your torso, to your body, and I think it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's crazy for me to even be saying how much I love it, considering how anti-bum bags, how anti-fanny packs I was in the past. So I have a new appreciation for this style of handbag. I know it's not for everybody. I know some of you guys are probably like, Minnie, I still hate them. That's fine. To each their own. But I'm just saying, until you try it out, you never know what's out there. You know what I mean? So, huge fan of the bum bag. So much so that even if this bag goes out of trend 5 years down the road, this is kind of along the same lines as the Palm Springs mini backpack. Mini backpacks, you know, come and go. I feel like bum bags, they will always be around. They have always been around. They've never gone anywhere. They just have a bigger spotlight on them now. And even if that spotlight seems to die down 5 years down the road, I can guarantee you, mark my words, that I will still be rocking this guy either crossbody or on my shoulder. Now, this video wouldn't be complete without the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 bandolier. So for those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, many of you know my love-hate relationship with this bag. But for those of you that are new, let me give you a quick rundown of why this bag is on this video. So when the bandolier first came about, I hated it. I know it's going to sound super harsh, but I despised it. I just kept thinking, why? Why would they mess with an original? Why would they add a strap? I think it's terrible. I think it looks hideous. I think it's like, I was just a hard no when it came to the bandolier, right? And I had so many people ask me, you know, are you going to add one to your collection? Are you going to add one to your collection? I was like, no, I'm a classic type of girl when it comes to the Speedy, right? So fast forward to a couple of years later, I legitimately found myself, watching videos once again on the Speedy bandolier, and I just kept watching video after video of people just raving about it and their full in-depth reviews. And the more that I watched it, the more I was like, you know, I started to appreciate it a little bit more, but I was still kind of, no, get away from me, you know? But again, the more and more that I saw it, the more I was just thinking, you know, maybe it's not as bad as what I think it is, you know? And I ended up going into one of the boutiques. I tried it on and I really liked it. I kept it to myself. The hubby's like, do you like it? I'm like, no, I hate it. But even though deep down inside, I was lying to myself, really. I was lying to myself because I loved it, you know? And I ended up going to the boutique a couple of times to try it on. And every time I was just like, oh, I love this bag. I love this bag. And finally, I accepted the fact that, yes, the bandolier strap is a game changer because you're not really taking away from it being the Speedy. It still has that silhouette, but it just offers so much more. The fact that you can end up removing the strap and use it crossbody or use it on your shoulder, or if you just want to have it, you know, hang there decoratively. And the fact that it's also adjustable just is absolutely incredible. This guy gives you the chance to go hands-free. The 25, it's small, but just like the other mini bags that I've talked about, they pack a punch, and because it is that speedy silhouette, you're still able to carry a lot more with you, you know? So I'm so happy that I gave this bag another chance, that I was a little bit more open-minded about what it brings to the table, because it is absolutely incredible. And whether you go for the 25, the 30, the 35, the bandolier strap is just, it's amazing. Next item, the Gucci Princetown loafer. Now, when this loafer first came about, people were so excited about it. You wouldn't be able to open up Instagram without seeing them on there. It was all over YouTube, and so many people were raving about them. They were like, oh my God, they're amazing, they're amazing, they're amazing. Sometimes when it comes to hype bags or hype items, I'm a little bit apprehensive, just because sometimes I feel like whenever I do get a chance to try something out that was hyped, I find it to be a little bit underwhelming, just because, again, that buildup is just all over the place, you know? So I was like, you know what? I don't think these are really my jam. Plus, I felt that they might end up making my foot look a little bit bigger. But I kind of like the style. I like that it was a little bit easy to just, it's very easy to slide them on and then you're good to go. And then I started to see people put them, you know, pair them with their outfits, and I thought they looked incredible, but I still couldn't picture myself, you know, wearing these. I'm talking years later. Years later, I was super late to the party when it came to the Princetown loafers. So I ended up trying them on, and I immediately fell in love, and I completely understood what people were talking about. They were so comfortable. Again, I loved the ease of it, and the fact that they had so many different colors, so many different details to go for, I thought was absolutely amazing. You know, and considering that I am a very casual dresser, I thought that these would end up maybe working out for my lifestyle a little bit better than I had anticipated. So I fell in love with them. I will admit that there's one thing that I've kind of gotten over, and that's the fact that this horse bit, I've talked about in other videos, definitely makes a lot of noise. I mean, you can hear that. And it gets to the point whenever I'm out shopping with the hubby, he ends up hearing this along, you know, if like we're not together, he'll hear it in the next aisle and he'll go, babe, is that you? Is that you? Just because it's so loud. So it might drive some people nuts, but even though it makes a lot of noise, every other aspect of the shoe I absolutely love. I do have 3 in my collection. I have the red, the pink, and I also have the silver glitter. I don't really use the silver glitter that often. I more so use this guy or this guy, but I think that they're absolutely wonderful, and it's gotten to the point where I want to add more colors. I really like the white, I really like the black, and I get it now. I get it now, and I was definitely judging, you know, I was judging the shoe, the reviews out there. I know, shame on me, right? But at least I can admit it. I can admit that I was wrong, and these are amazing. Do they make my feet look a little bit big? Kind of, but I don't think it's that bad because it adds a nice pop of color. The last 2 items that I want to share with you aren't necessarily because of the bag. One is because of a brand and the other is because of a detail, but I still wanted to share with you guys just in case. So as far as the brand goes, back in the day, I used to have a few Gucci handbags, and I really didn't have the best experience with them. They didn't end up wearing as well as I had hoped, and when I went to sell them, I ended up getting peanuts for them. So because of that, I pretty much ended up swearing off Gucci for the longest time. So fast forward to a few years later, it started to come up a little bit more, and you know, I was really intrigued by some of the designs. I was intrigued by some of the silhouettes, but I was still super nervous. So I ended up going into the boutique, and I fell in love with the Gucci Petite Marmont wallet on chain, and I decided to go for it. I decided to get my feet wet with a smaller item, something that I can kind of get used to and see how it ends up working out without necessarily breaking the bank. And I also wanted to go for a pop of color, something that I am not very known for. And I think that this bag is amazing. When it comes to wallet on chains, you definitely have to, of course, you have to go very compact, and it's sometimes hard to maximize your space. But I honestly feel that when it comes to this wallet on chain, it's a lot more spacious than most other wallet on chains. I also like the fact that it does have a built-in mirror, and the fact that you can also remove the strap completely, I think makes it a little bit more versatile. That way you can end up maximizing your space, and you can either use this as a wallet, you can use it as a clutch, or you can attach this and use it as a a little mini handbag. So because of this wallet on chain, I started to give Gucci another shot, and because of that, I have added other small leather goods that I absolutely love. I haven't necessarily moved on to a larger handbag. Only time will tell when that happens. So I'm really happy that I ended up giving Gucci another shot, and it was really because of the Petite Marmont wallet on chain. All right, now the last item, like I said, it's one was because of a brand, the other is because of a detail. This is the Louis Vuitton mini pochette in the Tahitian demi-azur. So again, back in the day, I used to have a limited edition Louis Vuitton trunks and locks mini pochette. I thought that it was incredible. I love the attention to detail. I didn't really use it as much as I liked just because I was super nervous about the silk screening, just because the silk screening it's known for chipping, you know? So after I ended up having that mini pochette, I ended up selling it because I was just too nervous. And for the longest time, I was just like, you know what, no more limited edition pieces for me because of the silk screening that it has. I didn't want to have any type of chipping because the chipping, I think it looks awkward. And then if you go to sell it, obviously you're going to get a lot less because the item isn't in the best condition. So when the Tahitian collection launched, I was immediately in love because I'm a huge fan of the demi-azur, but because you do have the larger print with the Tahitian or with the pink, I just thought it was amazing. I ended up going for it even though I had previously said no more limited edition pieces, and I'm so happy that I did because even though I don't put this item in that bubble that you guys have heard me talk about before, I am still mindful as far as using it, you know, with anything that might end up bleeding onto it. But besides that, I have used this thing to death, and so far I haven't experienced any type of chipping on the silk screening. So that made me super, super happy. Now, am I completely over my fear? Not necessarily. And I think it's because when it comes to the Tahitian, you really don't have those smaller details that some of the other limited edition pieces have. So I feel like with those, it might be a little bit easier to peel off. But again, I am judging a book by its cover because I haven't had any issues with this, but still, it's known for that chipping when it comes to the silk screening, but only time will tell. I can't sit here and say with certainty, absolutely not, because obviously here we are making a video on Never Say Never items. All right, you guys, that does it for my Never Say Never collection. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to give you a little bit more information, especially if you're looking to add some of these items to your collection. But I'm curious. I want you guys to share with me, what are some items that you have within your collection that you swore you would never have, that now you do, and some might even be your favorite? Let us know in the comment section down below. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.